Hello, welcome back to the Star Wars collection. This segment we're going to round off our VHS collection for the special edition trilogy, and I've got three fantastic sets to go through with you. So, the first set, 1997, got released, the special edition, both in widescreen and in full screen, and this is the full screen version, which is a gold tint package. The widescreen one had a silver tint package, and I obviously in the day bought the widescreen one first, but now I actually prefer the full screen version of VHS because it actually shows more of the picture resolution than the widescreen version. So it's actually better quality when it's been zoomed in. I think that's the only reason people buy full screen stuff. Plus also on some films, not on Star Wars, but on some VHS widescreen, it's the Academy ratio, not the pan and scan. There's the Star Wars A New Hope front cover with some nice artwork on the back there. THX, there's the side, and inside you've got the nice tape. And then we've got the Empire Strikes Back 1997 with the artwork on the back and that cassette there. So that's the Return of the Jedi one. So in 1997, George Lucas had gone back to his original trilogy. It had been like not even 5 years. We're talking 1990, when he had gone and looked at the Masters and cleaned them up began in 1993 the cleaning process, and released in 1994 the cleaned up versions, as well as in 1993 a THX mastered version, and again in 1995. And that was the starting ground for what these sets became. The special edition, which they've inserted new footage, they've cleaned up the master prints, and just generally done a nice little whammy on it, and re-released it in the cinema in 1997 for people like myself who hadn't seen it first time round. Now they did the same thing again when it came to the theatrical version of this film, The Phantom Menace, which was available as a widescreen on home video as well, but we'll get into that in a minute. When that got released, they re-released the special editions. Nothing new about the films. There was no difference at all in the films. The films in the special edition sets in 2000 are exactly the same as in 1997. But this is the set that got released both in widescreen again and full screen. This is the full screen copy, as it always is on VHS with me, and this is that widescreen set. So this is the full screen set, sorry, which has the film strip full screen going down the bottom. And if you had the widescreen set, that's what you would have seen at the bottom. You would have seen a much wider little picture there, whereas here we only see a small portion of it. And it's pretty cool. That I've never seen that ever since anybody putting something like that on a box set. You know, it is pretty cool. And as is the artwork. Now that was used on a DVD and a Blu-ray, or no, a DVD package of the original trilogy in years to come. That's pretty cool. Yoda's looking pretty hot there. Not that kind of hot. And Vader and the TIE Fighters. And then you've got C-3PO and the two droids at the bottom. Now, the artwork for these DVDs are a lot different to the other three films. We're just going to do a quick comparison on the last one to show you what I mean. But let's go through the artwork. So here is the Star Wars with a white label, and if you notice, it's got Star Wars A New Hope, and then behind that is the IV of the Roman numeral of 4, which, as it's the Phantom Menace in the cinema, that's going to have number 1, and then 2, 3, and finally 4. Now the artwork on the back here is different to the original release in 1997, so you've got a whole new packaging re-release, even on the label itself, whole new re-release. and it goes in the side rather than the bottom. There was a US alternative as well to this, which was exactly the same. And you've got the Empire Strikes Back. Now, the Empire Strikes Back was black, like all the prequel releases on VHS. You've got the Roman numeral behind the Star Wars artwork, behind the Star Wars lettering, and the artwork down here, sorry. And you've got a stormtrooper on the side with some different lovely jubbly artwork here, and a little write-up as well about the film. Now, the reason it was black was, if you take The New Hope, you've got white, black, and then Return of the Jedi is black. It's white, sorry. So you got white, black, white. Phantom Menace would have been black. Attack of the Clones would have been white. Revenge of the Sith is black. But you know what? They never actually kept that going. When it came to the prequels, they kind of edged that off. This is sealed, so I can't show you the tape, but that's the artwork for the front, and that's the artwork for the back. And you've got Luke on the side there. So just to show you the difference between the two artworks, is that one there, and then on the back, that's what it looks like there. And the fonting got completely changed from that, which was kind of based on the original, to this, which now coincides a lot more with this, the prequel. So in 1999 you had The Phantom Menace released in the cinema, and in 2000 it came out on VHS only. Never came out on DVD. It came out on VHS and Laserdisc. And this is the only way you can actually see the theatrical cut of The Phantom Menace. There was a widescreen release version of this as a box set, which I'll never get the widescreen release of a box set. I always prefer the full screen on VHS because you get the fuller picture in a higher quality on a VHS than you do of a letterboxed edition on even DVD of the same, or even on Laserdisc. So I always stick to VHS in full screen. And then you've got Attack of the Clones, which, as you can see, it's a black label. And you also had a feature on here, on this and the VCD version, which you didn't find on the DVD version. So it was kind of an incentive to get this. And again, got the artwork on the label and the artwork on the back. And again, this is actually a because this got released at the same time as the DVD, so the theatrical version is not available on the VHS. In fact, you have to get a bootleg to get the theatrical version. Now, in America, they never got Revenge of the Sith on DVD. They sadly, that was it for them. Oops. But in the UK, we actually got a release of Revenge of the Sith on VHS, and here it is. Now, these go for like 30 quid on eBay now, which is insane. But this is the original 2005 release of Revenge of the Sith. And that's the artwork that is on the back, and on the spine, and on the case. Now, even though it's a VHS, and there is obviously a difference in quality between this and DVDs, this, I believe, is the Academy version. Okay, it was one that would have been sent off to the Academy, the theatrical version, basically, because it actually sounds different. There are differences in the sound with obviously VHS and DVD. The difference of the sound. Put them aside, there is actually a difference in the sound. So I believe that is the theatrical cut on VHS, which when it came out on DVD was changed slightly, which we'll talk about when we get to the DVDs, and then on Blu-ray they went back and put the theatrical version on. So if you have all these, just to round off, this is what that whole box set will look like. All 6 films put together alongside each other. Pretty cool, I think. In the next few videos we're going to be going through the rest of the books, the comics, laser